Well, boys and girls, I'm all lubed and stretched for my Pilates and had my series of naps this morning, which has put me in right place to do a video about my apologies to the Boston Bruins and their fans. I was pretty critical of the firing of Claude Julien, and I still don't think it was the wisest move in the world. What I didn't take into consideration is Butch Cassidy is an excellent coach. He's come a long way since his Washington days. He's obviously learned a lot there. Coaching in Providence. He did well in Washington too. He reminds me a heck of a lot of Laviolette. He has the same sort of demeanor, same sort of approach. He was a very aggressive player as far as, forward aggression. He seems to like to play it's a different form of a possession game, almost like Laviolette does. There is a little bit of risk taking involved, and players tend to like that because it gives them a sense of creativity. And it appears that what had happened with Julien is that the players felt like their creativity was being stymied. I can't argue with that. It's a good possibility that that's the case. You don't seem to get the same. You don't seem to get these problems in LA with the guy who's probably the best at it, Sutter. You don't hear any murmurs or anything like that of them being their creativity being stymied there. That might have been the players that he had been given that don't seem to concern themselves with that, or it just could be his approach. I think it's more to do with his approach, because if you look at Sutter, what he'll often do is he'll let his team go with what they want to do. He'll give them their freedom to let them make mistakes, and then they'll end up going back to what Sutter was trying to get across in the first place. That being said, and the other thing that Sutter has there is he has several cheerleaders for his system, and that is huge. And what I think was happening in Boston is you weren't getting as many cheerleaders for his system as there were before. Possibly Bergeron, I'm not sure, but the most vocal seemed to be Krejci, and after he left. And Tuukka Rask actually seemed to be on board with these people, these other players that thought that as well. And I guess Julien's worst fault would be not letting guys just go out and see that his system does work. Now, that being said, what Cassidy did is he came in and he started playing a system that is played down deep in the offensive zone. He didn't rely on his D so much, which, according to what he's been given, Julien actually could have did this as well. What Julien was really doing was pressing his management to get him some defensemen that can move the puck and can play from the D line besides just Krug, which is pretty much all they had for that. You could say that a coach should work with what he has, and you can make a point that that's the case. But you know what? The system that Julien is trying to put in place, or was putting in place, is the most effective one. And playing a system like Cassidy is bringing in, although it can be more effective for the skaters that they have, ultimately it's hard to win a cup with it. And here's why. The New York Rangers had Tortorella as their coach. They were basically in the same situation as Boston. Most of their defensemen, except for McDonough, were not very good at playing from the point. They weren't what you would call power play specialists or exceptionally good on the power play. And, they brought in, Sather did bring in Yandel that one year, but it wasn't enough. At that point, their defense was getting pretty beat up as it is right now, and it actually has more depth now than it did then. But he played a system much like this because he took his what he had been given and did the best thing he did, but what could do with it. But what he did that Boston doesn't have right now, and the reason why I don't think they can be considered a contender for the Stanley Cup, even though they're going on a run like this, is they had the best shot blocking team. He made them the best shot blocking team let ever. And you need to be that to play that type of system. You gotta have guys that are going to let their bodies get destroyed. Because when you're playing that kind of system, you're going to spend a lot of time, more time in your own end. Once you give up the puck in that system, the other offensive, the players on the defensive side have a fairly easy time of getting out of the offensive zone. This is the reason why Julien plays a from the D system, because you can be on the right side of the puck most of the time. Now, you have a coach like Laviolette, who I brought up, who plays a similar type of system. However, he does so with one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. You can get away with it like that. Or you can kind of get away with it with having the best shot blocking team ever, possibly ever. And notice, they had the best shot blocking team possibly ever, but never won a cup. And because that system is like, there's a lot of luck you have to take to do that. Plus, you have Lundqvist, and I'm sorry, Rask is a really good goaltender, but he's not Lundqvist. So Julien, I think, played his system until death, until he died, until he got fired, because he knew that if he's there, I'm here to win a cup, and this system is going to do it. If you're not going to give me the people to do it, then you can leave and bring somebody else in here. And that's what happened. And now he's going to Montreal, and he has Weber. He has an underrated defense there, Petrie and stuff like that, can play more like his system. And he has forwards that have been struggling with the Tyrion system that was freaking all over the place. So bringing in somebody like him, a communicator like him, is going to be music to their ears, and it has been. And I don't know if they're going to go deep this year, but if they keep him in, they have a much better chance than they did Tyrion. So I said I was going to apologize. I am apologizing because Cassidy is a darn good coach, and he realizes his strengths and weaknesses, and he's getting the best out of his team. I'm not apologizing in the sense that I still think Julien, you don't fire Julien. You work with Julien to do the best that you can do. Management made big mistakes with Seguin, and I don't know how much Julien was involved with that. I doubt it's possible that Julien was saying that you get rid of Seguin because he's not playing our system, but I find that very hard to believe. There is a management problem there, but I will say they have made some good moves, and it's not all death for Boston. They did a really good job of trading when they traded Hamilton. I liked that trade, unlike a lot of people in a 2015 draft class. It was as deep as that. I didn't mind it really at all if in fact Hamilton didn't want to be there. What I do have a problem with is why Hamilton didn't want to be there. This is a management team that's looking for a specific type of personality for their team. There's a lot of questions about partying and letting people have fun and stuff like that. I don't know all about it, but when you have to trade a guy like Hamilton, to me there's a problem. And when Julien is basically playing a system and saying, get me some D that can play the system, and you don't, there's a problem. Anyways, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. My NHL Pearls of Wisdom on YouTube, you can come and frolic with me daily. And that's my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. Be well lubed. Jaime's Body Lube, it's the best. There, I said it. That's far my 42%. Have a great day, everybody. Lots of love to you.